Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to the judging stream of Sim Jam. I am your host, Shibanya, and I am joined this evening by our illustrious judges, who shall now introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Ash. I am a voice actor and a narrative game developer and writer, and I do a bunch of stuff like that, and I'm super happy to be here. Woo!
Hi, I'm Matthew Curtis. I have a very limited skill set, which allows me to just do voiceover, and that's pretty much it. It's just voiceover guy.
Hi, it's Snowshoe. I stream and game dev, and I'm here to enjoy all your games.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Azekis, voice actor out of Dallas, Texas, and just always happy to be here and get to enjoy another jam with y'all.
Hey, I'm voice director, art director, and game dev sometimes. Forward to seeing more of your stuff.
Hi, this is Termination Shock. I have been doing game development for more than 20 years, AAA and then indie, and I'm looking forward to looking at all the games.
For those of us joining for the first time, the way judging works in these jams is we go down the categories one by one and decide together in game will win the category, and then we'll also decide a runner-up. If one of the winners of the main categories wins Best of Jam, then the runner-up of the category will be promoted to be the winner. So that means no one game can sweep everything. Anyway, a lot to look forward to. Let's proceed. We first have to mention community choice. Y'all voted on who your choices were, and we have our picks. The winner of community choice is Herbal Harmony. And
Herbal Harmony!
The people have spoken.
I feel like an actual air horn.
That is the community's choice. And we'll go down the top five. Top five. Second is Every Degree Matters. Well done. Okay. Solar Simtem. Nice. Bunny Eats.
Hey.
And Heavy Mustard, a county fair hot dog simulation. 5th place for community choice.
Yeah. It has the most ratings, too, technically.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, it's got 15 ratings. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people found it satisfying.
Well done.
Good night, everybody.
Was it good for them, too?
First category on the block is Best Art.
I want to put out Herbal Harmony immediately. They're the ones that did the really, really charming hand-drawn kind of sprite-based little creatures. It's all very soft and very elegant, and I really, really like it. Of all the things I kind of played through and scanned over, that was the one where I was like, oh yes, this one touches me, my soul.
Yeah, that looked like a storybook.
It did.
It looked really great in the asset swap for the different characters. Or sorry, I meant palette swap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't
just the simple bits of movements were very solid. It was fun, balanced. It had good art all.
Oh, I was going to note, not only was it good art, but I always appreciate, you mentioned the palette swap. It was very judicious use of art. It was well-scoped. It was a well-scoped game.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention or nominate Bunny Eats, which is by Securus. That game had some pretty stunning sprite artwork. I really liked the little puffs when the character jumped and stuff like that.
Yeah, that one had some super cute art in it.
Mm-hmm. And the animation was real solid.
Yeah.
So expressive.
Yeah. Oh, for anybody new to this, before we decide the winner, we usually just toss out nominees before we go super in depth. So any game you're thinking about that you think might be a contender, just toss it out right now.
I really like the art in Artist Restored Book. I thought they did a really nice job with the character art that they put in that one.
That was the one that was with lots of text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lots
of
text.
Visual novel.
Yeah.
And I
have
thought
one. I'm just trying to remember.
I
Oh, no,
actually,
you go. I'm talking over and there's a slight delay. I'm sorry.
I want to nominate. I've got a few, but I think a lot of folks will have the same nominees. Every Degree Matters, which is a game that didn't have like character art, but I thought that the way it all came together visually was really smartly done, and it was beautiful in that sort of abstract geometric way.
And I know I was partial to Atolling Gods, just how, like Bunny Eats, it had very solid animation for everything, and watching all the characters as they were simply animated, solid with just the cycles that they did have. I enjoyed how that game looked altogether.
For me, School was one that really brought everything to feel like a really, like it had a really strong creative direction.
Yes.
Being sold. I could have bought that game.
Mhm.
Yeah,
even
really beautiful.
even though the interface didn't make a lot of sense thematically, really well put together. It was really pleasing to look at. It was one that really was released in the eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. School,
I also
great to just look at.
want to mention Solar Simtem, the System Logoffs game. It has his really charming style, and what I love about all of System Logoffs games is that the UIs are always so charming and cute, and I think UIs often get neglected in game jams, so it's always nice to see somebody who puts a lot of love into it.
Agreed.
I
Like,
was so impressed by that game overall, because even though it was a sim, my only complaint was that you can't read more of the headlines. Like
Yeah.
otherwise, it was just really fun to like just you got to like kind of build your own plan.
Yeah, they did a really nice job with the UI and that, with the really like retro Mac styling on all of the artwork.
And it was clean, easy to navigate, and just being able to play with the palette, so you could really have a lot of customization as to how you're going to make your world, and then toss them into this little, very well scoped, just came together nice.
Also wanted to mention I liked the art in Trianglovers. I thought that was really cute and really effective for the concept. I did the
It was really, it did go well with it. Its overall look was very cute.
Cohesive too.
Yeah, like it felt very like a Switch game, which is like like I felt like a game like I pull from my Nintendo, or like an old Wii game, not even Wii U, Wii. It's old.
Or DS.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I know I am getting some DS or 3DS vibes as well.
Yeah, it had a lot of polish, and I always appreciate that in a jam game, because it's easy to overscope and then be like, oops, sorry, I could have finished this in a month, and it's like, but you knew you didn't have a month, you knew you had 2 weeks.
And I think the final one that really caught my eye was Clicker Company, because it was simple, well put together, but the animations in which, as you're accumulating more things by clicking, you notice the details that, all right, you go from dollars to gold to diamonds, and then suddenly, as you start getting too much, it all just starts spilling off of the desk, which is a nice little detail that I go, that's cute. I enjoy that.
That one was effective. I was impressed by Dogstruction Derby for the 3D art, because doing that on jam time is very doable, but it's difficult. And there are a lot of unique textures for the dogs in that game. So it was just one dog model, which is reasonable for Jamscope. But a lot of textures, and it was a rigged model too, so I was very impressed. And it had that nice PS1 vibe.
You could customize the dog for every each time like you started over, which was really cool. Unfortunately, I bugged it a little bit, so like my cool design didn't stay after I reloaded it. Oops.
Alas.
Too good.
So now it's the Thunderdome part of so who do we think ought to win?
I still lean really heavy into Herbal Harmony. Like, of all the different ones we've talked about, that's still the one that still like sticks out to me as being the most effective use of art, and both
I vote for Bunny
technically-
Eats myself.
I didn't dislike Bunny Eats. It wasn't, but like it didn't stick out to me, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't leave me with like this very specific lasting impression.
Mhm.
It was just like, okay, it's another like, you know.
It was really cute. But I also support is it Herbal Harmony as the winner of best art, because it was just it was a feast for the eyes, which is unusual to say for a Game Jam game.
I was practicing saying it a few times before we got on the conversation. I agree. Those two were my top favorites. Bunny Eats for the animations, the fluidity of the camera, and Herbal Harmony just for how smoothly it comes together with the design, the UI. It was solid. Even the simple animations of, all right, miserable, happy patient.
I actually would put forward as a runner-up School, since that had It's difficult to compare it with Bunny Eats because the styles are so different and they are doing different things. But School is a really unique look to it. Well, it's characteristic of Noyemi's work, but it is it's very striking.
Yeah, it's unique among the Jam. It really leaves an impression, like stylistically, you get what she was going for. Herbal Harmony being the winner. I mean, I would vote for School myself, but I totally get behind Herbal Harmony as a winner for Best Art.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Herbal Harmony as the winner in that one. I like the art in that. Bunny Eats was great too, but I think just in terms of the overall, how well it was tied together, Herbal Harmony did a great job.
I agree. All in favor?
I like Herbal Harmony but for runner-up, I really liked Solar Symptom.
Okay, well, let's talk
I
about
love the
runner-up.
interactiveness.
See, when we talk runner-up, then it gets a little more complicated because then I'm just like, oh god,
All of them.
right? Like it's like, cause like
Well,
if I had to pick a runner-up, it would be either School or Bunny Eats.
Same.
Yeah, I would agree with those two as potential runner-up.
Despite the fact that I still do love Solar Symptom, like that's what drives me crazy. It's one of those things where it's like,
Oh yeah, I love it too. Well, since we have so many entries, we should probably pick two runners-up anyway.
oh god.
Yeah, because that way.
So both School and Bunny Eats.
Yeah, but then we have to decide
Honorable
who's
mentions.
above the other.
Do we?
Does it?
They're runners-up.
The runner-up.
You wore the
There's
same
no
dress.
above.
One of you has to change.
Okay, so our runners-up, tied for runners-up of Best Art, are Bunny Eats and School. Let's talk about Best Audio next. In a lot of jams, not many games have very memorable audio. Like, audio is always like the neglected child of jams, but this jam had a lot of games with really, really memorable and good audio. I was impressed.
Both of my recommendations are gonna be the ones that Yoshi did a voice work for. Like, Cooker Company was one of them because I thought it was just really funny. Like, just the random barks amused the heckero out of me.
That was really fun.
So
I'm gonna throw Fruit Buddy into this category because the audio really makes that.
I also liked the audio. I liked the audio in the Clicker Company, and I also liked the audio in Flower Match. Now that I'm thinking about it again,
Yeah, that was really
just the use of audio and the little do 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 do. Like, it kind of got annoying after a while. But I appreciate the effort.
You took the wind out of my sails because that's exactly what I was going to say. Is Flower Match the consistency of the audio, and it was relaxing, and it's a unique thing to get a game that I go, all right, it feels soothing to play this. I appreciate that.
Well, and it's so much part of the gameplay. I almost wish they would have ramped up more of the mixing of the audio when you're making the flower combos. I want to mention School again because Naomi makes her own for and she put 3 different tracks that were really interesting. They really kind of brought the atmosphere of the game, and you could just switch it around between like modes. Each one had a distinct feeling for the moment. I don't know if anyone played with the different audio. Okay.
Yeah, they're great.
So I would also mention Invisible World because the audio was such a core component in that game. The different environmental audio was really good in that one.
I agree. And
I
that was
didn't
like
enjoy that.
I would like to toss out there Heavy Mustard. for best audio. Just put that out there. It was very visceral.
Farting
That
everywhere.
and also the way that they had processed the background generic carnival techno where it's muffled where you go, you're in the tent and you know there's the tilt-a-whirl or the gravitron right outside that's just
Tyler said he recorded that in real life. Like at a real county fair.
I can believe that. I can absolutely believe that.
That one, yeah. How long were we laughing for with that?
God, it was too long.
I was going to say not long enough.
It was wonderful.
It was delicious.
Yes.
Stellari Planetary Defense. I really liked the music. I liked the music for what not maybe it's more just kind of like a bench because it was very energetic.
Personally, really liked Nova Forge. I don't know why. I love the music just and like how majestic it started to get every time. Like you'd be making your space warps and stuff, and the music would start be swelling and everything like that. It was almost like it was. I don't think it was linked to it in any way, but it felt like it was. Like you're learning how to do it, and as things became more grand, the music became more grand.
That's true.
I liked it.
I like that.
I liked the original version rather than the updated version. The one with the separate. I think that was really. It really like it gave this majestic feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The new music also fit well, but it didn't have that same punk.
By the way,
Which
Sandra,
one
You
was
said
it?
that was for Nova Forge, correct?
Nova
Or
Forge, yes.
which one did you mean, Sandra?
No,
yeah, they were talking about Nova.
I think the one thing about Nova Forge, and I might have hit a bug when I had played it, it seemed like the music had stopped and did not reset while
I had
was
that same thing too, because it is like, oh, it's done. Okay, guess.
Because I remember it sounded beautifully majestic when we played it on stream, but when I was playing it again, I went, silent. Uh-oh. I want to enjoy more of this, so it did hurt a little bit that I didn't get that ramp up that it looked like you got when you were playing.
I think Solar Simtem had this like really cute tune to it.
It did.
It had
That,
the audio.
yeah.
And once again, System Log Off always has just very well put together UI and responsiveness with audio.
Well,
Yes.
because he got Wolf War.
Yeah,
Wolf
Wolf
War
did
to
the
do it. So music.
Fantastic.
That's always that's an A plus. That's an A plus
Yeah.
team up right there.
Yeah. Dream team. Oh, and I also wanted to toss out Herbal Harmony, which also had a little bit of voiceover and had people dying. I killed them, all but two.
Way to go.
They perished by my hand. Just throw that out there.
Gotta work on your humors.
Gotta balance them. Balance the humors.
Yeah, yes, the humors are out of balance. So, all right, let's get down to it. Who do we think ought to win in this category?
I think it might just be Invisible World, just because of how much audio as part of the.
If it had to pick audio connected to gameplay, it'd be Flower Match or Invisible World. If it would just be like audio for fun, like just as like a fun like as the atmospheric, it'd be either Clicker Company or Solar Simtem.
I will bring up that we very much enjoyed the voiceover in the interview, which was
true.
which was very charming and was deeply wrapped up in the experience of the game.
Mm-hmm. I thought the I don't know if it was the audio per se, but I thought it was just humorous. I don't know if the audio necessarily made it fun.
More so the delivery.
Yeah.
And the script.
Yeah.
I appreciated listening to that. And, oh, culture fit. This is sitting in my head, and I have the perfectly just even-keeled voice going, we don't think you're a good fit. Oh, this... I hate how close this hits to home. It's hilarious, and I hate it. So it's... Yeah, appreciated that delivery on it.
Although it was really impressive. Apparently, there's a lot of lines that were recorded game.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah. It was a really dense... There was a lot of content in that game.
Mm-hmm. So we got Solar Symptom, Invisible World, Flower Match, Clicker Company.
It's a tricky one.
Ones we've mentioned so far.
We think that Invisible World's audio had the most to do with its gameplay. I feel like Clicker Company seemed to have the more cohesive all-around audio experience. And that you get the music, and you got the sound effects, and you got the voiceover. So I think that would be pretty high up there. I really enjoyed the track in Lemon Pending. I'm not sure how deeply audio was integrated in the whole game, but I wanted to throw that out there. I think my two favorites, I guess, would be Invisible World and Clicker Company.
I feel like for the sake of like overall audio, I'm more inclined to go with Clicker Company for that perspective. Though, despite the fact of really liking Invisible World.
I personally, Flower Match was the one that stood out the most, because even just the simple sound effects that were used for different controls, I liked just how it seemed to fit with that very calming theme, and the manner in which all the growth, the music was in time with the rest of the music, that it solid and interesting.
It did. I'm still stuck on School a little bit, because I just really liked all the tracks, and they just really fit well
That's true.
with the theme that they were doing with the game, or the school theme. I can't remember the track titles right now, because I'll have to go look, but each one was very distinct for a different mood. And I just I just really liked it.
Yeah, it's on that
It's
PC
super cool.
aesthetic.
Also, yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm definitely in for Clicker Company and Invisible World, kind of as the top two. Probably Clicker Company, because it's a more complete experience with Clicker Company and the audio and the gameplay, and whereas Invisible World was environmental as part of the gameplay, but it wasn't this separate thing that's also the audio.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat, except that I'm kind of torn, because Invisible World also just made a good use of silence, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sound design was really well done, and then the silence was a huge part, and it made it work. Like, which is not something you see very.
That's
true. Well, and things like using the TV sound to find your way through places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually changed my mind. I now feel like I support Invisible World as winner and Clicker Company as runner-up. That blew my mind, man.
I'm sorry. I'm just throwing out truth bombs over here.
It was deep.
Truth bombs.
Judgy bombs. Judge
Really makes you
bombs.
think.
There we go. Yeah, it makes you think.
I'm inclined to agree with Invisible World being the top, with Clicker Company and Flower Match being runners up. Even though I still did even though I did still like School as well. It's like
you can have three
We had
runners
a lot
up.
of great. We had a lot of great audio.
There was a
All the
lot of
games
good
are
audio.
runners up.
Yeah.
There were so many games with such good audio this.
Which is amazing. It's so wonderful
Which
to
is
see,
weird.
especially in a game jam that gets neglected. So we're thinking Invisible World is winner, with runners-up Clicker Company and
Flower Match.
Flower
Match?
Yeah, I
Flower
can support that.
Cool.
It's such an interesting, unique use of audio. Good job, Matt. You threw a wrench into everything.
I'm sorry.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, like the whole point
Why are you apologizing for changing Heart's minds?
How
Well,
dare
it's
you
like
put a
the whole
point
point
out
of
there?
the whole gameplay of Invisible World was sound design, and they did a really, really good job with it.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not as complex as Clicker Company, but it didn't need to be. They took their tools and they used them really well, and they made something pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is innovative, because it's the only one that seems to use the negative space to the positive, as you said. Mind blown when you mentioned that.
Yeah, seriously. So it's good. That's why we have
even think of that.
We have a good pool of judges who bring up cool
Multiple
things.
perspectives.
So, congratulations to Invisible World, winning Best Audio. The next category.
This audio.
This is a good use of audio. Yes, you win runner-up judge best use of audio. Lord of mercy. The next category we're going to consider is best use of theme. The theme of this jam was a matter of degree, which was left to be interpreted as however the participant wished. So there are a lot of words in there that you can use, and there's also the idiomatic expression.
I vote every degree matters on this one.
Yeah.
Same.
That's the one. That one is the
turny one. With
rotating one,
angles.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike that one, but I also really liked the I also liked the one with the temperature one. I'm suddenly blanking on
Thermal
Thermosaga. Yeah, Thermosaga. I blanked on the name for a minute. I was like, oh.
I thought that one was funny. It was great. It
I
felt it in life as I did in the game.
I also
I don't feel Thermosaga did. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, you go.
Yours.
I was going to say I don't feel Thermosaga did anything very unique with the theme. You know, like I feel other games did something cooler with it, like Chain Lovers. I think it's a lot cool. Try to change the degree to be something more abstract, like mathematical degrees than.
Yes, I thought Triangle Lovers had a really cute use of the theme. Because a lot of people found this theme very challenging, so I'm all the more impressed by the people who were able to really find a way to work it in. I wanted to mention NovaForge for making use of the matter part of it.
There is a lot of variety in interpretation. That was the thing I found.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unique ones, but then everyone had like a different interpretation of degree itself.
My top two, either Thermosaga for literal use of degree or Solar Simt, which I appreciated because it felt like System Log Off had a 2-level use of things, in which one, the degree of customization for all the different planets, and 2, you reset your game with the heat death of the universe.
Yeah. I thought it was a super giant that happened.
I think it's open to interpretation.
Oh, okay.
It's a super giant in your heart.
I'm so bad at science that I didn't even think of those things. I was just like, yay, blow up things. Yeah. Fun.
Well, I mean, supergiant would bring the heat death of the universe.
No, I'm gonna stop for a minute because I will go into
science the shit out of this.
I will go into a science rant. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm too tired.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it was a supergiant and just was thinking.
I also
hot star just couples you out.
Want to mention sub to sub again for
that was the other one.
Well, for both being a sim on the sim theme and the matter of degree theme, and the thoroughness of it. I poked around at it. I never really figured out how to play it well, but I enjoyed poking around at it, which counts for something. I
had Ellen come in and watch me play.
Did she help you out?
Yeah, for sub, I felt like was like a really good like marriage of both aspects of the jam, the sim and the degree at the same time. So like if we were doing them as like separate categories, or if it would depend on like how we're categorizing things. Because I do feel like it was a really good marriage of both.
Well, we do have a best sim category, so
we
can evaluate it on those merits in that category as well. Oh, I wanted to mention Bunny Eats for incorporating temperature into its gameplay.
That is true.
Gotta get the food out before it gets cold.
Core element. That, and also it was just solidly executed where I was going, all right, what path do I have to take to go through a hot or cold?
I thought Atoning Gods was kind of a cute way to incorporate the degree, because we have these people who live on 270 degrees, except for these 90 degrees.
The evil 90-degree color.
I did like the concept of sim subterfuge, where it was like it was degrees of separation.
Yeah.
But yeah, my only concern with that is I felt the game itself was a little difficult to play, and so it was just kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is actually being utilized the way it's supposed to. Like I know based off I know what their concept was, but as far as was it actually like implemented, I had a hard time figuring that out.
Same. I tried figuring. I couldn't figure out if people I was buying was also working in business.
Yeah, that would have benefited
Yeah.
from a bit more clarity. And that, well, it's a hard thing about being a game dev is, you know, you make these amazing systems, but if people don't know how to use them, then it doesn't count.
Exactly.
It's painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
I had to read about the networking mechanic because I didn't figure out how to get it.
There was a networking.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was.
Oh wait, y'all
Yeah.
help
So it's
me
like I
understand.
like the proposed concept. It was just like I don't know if it was actually implemented or not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting down to who we think ought to win, I think the winner in this category, I would support Every Degree Matters. What do y'all think?
I'm okay. Like I'm okay with that. Like my only thing with I had a hard time like physically playing Every Degree Matters.
Same here.
Like just physically. And so I was just like, oh my god, I think I'm doing this right. Am I getting this game? And it took me like a really long time to like sit with it and be like, what am I doing? Because like the way that it took me forever to figure out like, okay, the ball bouncing off the wall changes that degree, but like I couldn't. It was just weird. It was a very odd, it was a hard game for me to play. But I do appreciate the use of theme, and I'm willing to chalk that up to I'm bad at games.
The
Yeah,
gameplay. I'm sorry, you were talking.
They were, yeah, they were just very solid on their use of theme. I really liked how they incorporated the theme into that game. It was clear that they very much focused on the theme of Every Degree Matters, where some of the other ones, okay, degrees, temperature, but that felt like that was really solidly, it's about Every Degree Matters.
Yeah, because a lot of games,
Yeah,
like,
every degree actually matters.
they had like a temperature meter or whatever, but it didn't do anything, so it's kind of tacked on, which is fine, because that's a lot of the jam, but, well, as the title of that game says, every degree matters. I was also very bad at it, but even though I was bad at it, I enjoyed it when I was playing it, and I enjoyed watching Matt be good at it. I was bad at it.
I wasn't that good at it.
I still like Michael's description for Solar Symptom.
Yeah, and that's the thing I appreciated about that is just because it was multi-level. Because while Every Degree Matters did use counting up degrees, the thing is there were multiple games that had some manipulation of degrees and rotation, and there was the one that I thought this is something that is a different take versus rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But rotation's a valid way to do it.
It is. I just felt that because there were so many games that used that, I went, okay, so
This one
using what I'm
stands out.
expecting.
See, for me, it's something like as much as I like Solar Symptom, I just didn't really feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it feels like it didn't feel like it attached itself to the theme well enough. In that it was like it's still a solid little sim, nice cute little game, but as far as actual theme adherence, it felt more like, oh, well, I'm just gonna make a thing and then I'll make it work afterward.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just feels reaching to actually apply the theme for Symptom, despite liking the game.
Yeah, I love Solar Symptom as well, but I also, like, even now I'm like, wait, what did somebody else say was the theme again? Because I didn't catch it at first. I guess it was Matter? Because it was in space. Matter, space. But whereas Every Degree Matters theme, that game doesn't exist.
Triangle Lovers, we had brought that up earlier.
Yeah.
I have the same position that Ash has on Every Degree Matters, but with Triangle Lovers. It was confusing to like really kind of figure out, and then when I got done with it, it was like 1 out of 5. I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't quite understand what was happening, like gameplay, but I liked the idea that you played with the angles and everything.
I felt the same way about Triangle Lovers too. So
good.
Yeah. It also befuddled me.
Watching Shivanya play it was so frustrating. I was like, no, you're doing it wrong.
Well, I'm about as good a matchmaker as I am an herbalist, let's just say.
Exactly.
So, I'm torn because the Triangle Lovers argument, but I still think I'm gonna stick with my original Every Degree Matter.
I feel like I support every degree matters over triangle lovers in that I don't feel like the actual degree aspect was as fundamentally incorporated into the gameplay as it was with every degree matters. In as much as, well, it was a lot though. Shoot, I mean, yeah, I think I'm more inclined to lean every degree matters because even though I was bad at it, when I lost, I understood why I lost, and I think that's an important thing for a game to do. This is why people like Dark Souls. It's because when you die in Dark Souls, you know why you died.
God, I hate Dark Souls.
Yeah, I'm not
everything
terribly good
is
at it.
trying to kill you. It is brutally hard.
I'm so bad at it. Yeah.
With Triangle Lovers, I never quite understood what the hell was going on. I enjoyed it. It is a cute aesthetic, but I didn't quite get it. I'd like to have more.
It was also an acute aesthetic.
Oh God!
I had to.
I don't think we've heard much from you on the topic, Termination Shock.
Aside from bad jokes about acute.
That's illegal.
So I
you go to jail for those jokes.
So
Punjo.
in my opinion, I think Every Degree Matters made a more solid use of the theme than Triangle Lovers. It was just more obvious that was the theme, was about the degrees. Triangle Lovers, you could see it in there, but you couldn't see that the degrees mattered, just that you're making a triangle which has degrees, which...
My support goes behind Every Degree Matters.
You have my...
That's where I'm kind of leaning as well at the moment. Okay. Is of Every Degree Matters being number one with I don't know where Runners Up would be. I have to think about that.
And I was going to say, like, for me, Thermosaga, if it turns to the topic, Thermosaga makes it into the runner-ups.
I support Thermosaga as runner-up.
Same. I wanted Sub 2 as the runner-up, but it didn't quite the matter of degree theme, and there's just so much going on.
It's not as integrated.
There's just so much going on that like I got it, but like as a submarine sim, it's really cool.
Oh yeah. If we're just talking theme adherence, I think Thermosaga hits it more than Sub because it's totally fully integrated into the experience of that game. And in a really funny way too. In a situation that any, I guess, American with roommates has ever lived with.
Yes.
I can definitely support Thermosaga as a runner-up on that one. That was a good, solid use of the...
Cool. Then congratulations to Every Degree Matters for winning Best Use of Theme.
And every day.
That's how it goes.
And Thermosaga as runner-up. So, the next category for your consideration is best gameplay.
I'm gonna say Stellar.
Yep.
It was a game I just kept coming back to. We were just like, yeah, this is on my computer now. It's a game. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Like, actually, that the multiplayer was pretty solid. Like, we just were able to connect right away and go.
Yeah,
I had some issues.
I was going to say that the single player campaign was repetitive because once you figure out where to shoot, but in multiplayer it was a lot more chaotic. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
had a little issue connecting with multiplayer.
I was very. Oh, I was just gonna say I also liked Stellary Planetary Defense Force. I thought that was fun. I had fun playing it.
Yeah, that was a good, solid game.
Yeah. My top two, I was looking at either Bunny Eats or Herbal Harmony. Bunny Eats because of just how solid the gameplay felt where I was running around. And I also really liked how it got the frantic nature, having had experience being a delivery driver in the past where you have your countdown timer, all right, run it over here, run it over here, run it over here, get it in the hot zone, get it in the cold zone, you got a complaining customer, get it done. And I found I was enjoying playing it each day. It was really tough to get anywhere close to my goal, but I liked just how solid it. And
It's a very polished game.
Yeah, I will chime in that that's one of my top in this category as well. Bunny Eats. That was a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one I spent the most time with, actually. But then I realized there really wasn't an ending. So I was like, I got to 10, day 10, and I was...
Yeah, it was very polished. What I liked it less than Stellary because I was very bad at... I'm bad at all the video games, but I felt like I never got the hang of Bunny Eats. But it was very solid nonetheless. It's definitely one of my top picks. But that would be why
it's hard.
Yeah.
Super tough, you guys. Hardcore.
Get good.
And
Jump.
one thing I know that's also tough about it as a platformer is it's one of those wait till the last pixel to make the jump kind of platformers, which I go,
a lot of people like
I
those.
have to get used to.
Precision platformer, yeah. Bunch of nerds, like they're precision platformers.
I got
Nerds.
What do you think this is? Super Mario Brothers?
I want to mention
Super
Flower
Mario.
Match again. I thought Flower Match it was a really fun mechanic and a different kind of spin on just straight up. Yeah, like you're pretending to be a gardener. You're
It
being
was
like
really,
a florist.
it was very different, which I like it a lot. I don't think I can't think off the top of my head of another game that had quite
would
that
definitely-
style of gameplay. I just wish there was a more. My only complaint with the gameplay of that is a little more. Was more like in the flower colors and stuff, and
Yeah,
like
I'd
the
appreciate-
feedback.
Yeah, what you said, feedback. I would have appreciated more guidance initially in that one because I ended up being confused and frustrated. Going back to our comments about like it sucks to make tutorials, but it's kind of important because if the player can't figure it out, they can't enjoy the best parts of your game.
I felt didn't have enough control over what I was trying to do when I was matching colors and shapes. Yeah,
I felt the same
I
way.
tried to
Same
aim
way.
for a certain color, and I couldn't satisfyingly close.
What was nice is that you didn't have to get it perfect, but I also agree. I was getting frustrated. It's like I'm mixing these colors. Why is it like go overshooting each time? I could tell it was like very deep. It was probably the kind of game that I would have like played for hours and hours in middle school.
I would have when it was computer day in the lab. On the old MS-DOS boxes. That's the kind of game I would play.
Yeah, well, that's actually interesting because like Stellary reminds me of like when I would go to the computer lab. There was a particular game that was very similar, but like there were planets all around, and you would get your spaceship to kind of fly around the planets, and you would try and fire at the other planet. But gravity was like a huge part. So maybe that's like Stellary kind of gets me in the feels, I guess, and I enjoyed it a lot. So nostalgia factor there for me too.
Well, I still support Celery as my pick in this category, and I've got no nostalgia for any such game, so I guess that's a sign it's a solid entry. Sandra and Termination Shock.
Yes.
So I chimed in. Stellary and Bunny Eats are definitely my top two picks of the ones that I mean, short of reviewing the list again, but I can't think of one that stuck out more than those.
For me, Stellary, I wasn't convinced by Stellary when I first played. When I played with all of you in the stream, I think it was legit a funny game in here. So I'd play. Runner-ups is where I'm totally stuck. Like I keep going back to school, like. Well, yeah.
So it sounds like are we in agreement that Stellary wins best gameplay? Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good
We
with
just
that.
got to decide the runner-up.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
good.
Well, congratulations to Stellary Planetary Defense Force for winning best gameplay. All right. So runners-up, I think Bunny Eats was a top contender there.
I really also like Invisible World for its gameplay. Just the integration of audio and gameplay.
I like
also have it for audio already, and so I'm willing to like let that go.
I really loved it, but I didn't like the execution because it was a pain. Like
Yeah.
it was
a little clunky. Yeah, it was a little clunky. But I definitely want to mention this game where I did really enjoy.
I think it was really well implemented, but I think it wasn't an enjoyable experience so much as a bit of a task. But at first I was like, oh, this is so cool! Oh my god, I'm discovering things.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just wait to get into the game.
It was kind of it was not a fun experience, and it's fine for a game to do that, like as it can be educational or a statement, artistic. But as far as gameplay goes, it was an interesting idea, but I kind of bounced off of that. I didn't. It wasn't super interesting.
Yeah, that's why
one of the things I
look inclined to put in as an actual like contender, but I did want to mention it at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things that I look for in gameplay is something that I want to go play again and again and again.
Yes.
And I enjoyed playing Invisible World because it was such an interesting concept, but I can't see going back or wanting to do that for a long time. I can see running through it once or twice going, hey, that's really neat. And I like what they did here, and I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
That's true. There are no more levels than that one that they have. It was scoped appropriately, so that's not a knock against it. But yeah, I think...
Yes.
I would mention Every Degree Matters would be another one that I would want to come back and play over and over. Just
I don't know. I had such a hard time with that though. That makes me hard and makes it hard. Like I found that one to be very difficult to play, like physically difficult to play, and like getting the thing to spin and right. So that's why I'm less inclined to like actually like the gameplay on that.
On top of that, I found I got stuck a lot with the controls when I was trying to play Every Degree Matters, and it was something. It needed more bug testing because I was having collision issues that affected it, and said I'm frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not enjoying this.
The only thing I will say that since we're talking about Bunny Eats, I definitely still consider it up there as one of my favorites. My only thing that bugged me was it being WASD as a platformer.
Mm-hmm.
On my left hand. Like that was really weird. I would have liked the ability to like remap that.
It's my eternal problem.
Because like I don't mind WASD for moving in a 3D space. I'm also using my mouse for FPS, but for like a platformer, all on the left hand was very odd. Felt weird to me. So I would have liked the ability to like remap the keys.
It's funny. I use the controller.
Yeah.
Mine's broken, so I wasn't able to do that.
I was just like, the gamepads work. I didn't know. I should have figured.
Yeah, my gamepad, my Xbox controller decided it doesn't want to work anymore. So I had to do keyboard, and so I was stuck on the left hand, and it was very awkward.
Well,
with that said, it was definitely an interesting feel on the left hand, and I liked what they used for the jump and also checking your phone buttons, because I went, although this feels like an unusual setup, it felt intuitive with where my hand placement is while using going. All right, I'm twisting my hand one way, and I accept an order, and then accept. This feels comfortable.
I can very much forgive not doing key remapping during a game.
Right. I think for me, like just as a note, my ideal for a platformer on a keyboard would be arrow keys in the right hand, space in the left hand, with like tab and stuff on the left hand to do the order screen, to do a two-handed platformer. Just as a note, that's just a me thing. It's a me thing.
Jam, I made the gentle suggestion to jammers that they not use exclusive WASD controls and that they not make their game start in full screen. But I think next jam, I'm just gonna like straight up make those rules of the jam. Go on, people. I asked you nicely. You want to play nice? Then we're not going to play nice anymore.
Let me say it again. No more full screen.
Or full screen. Now we're starting in full screen. Y'all saw what happened. I feel like I cut somebody off.
Sometimes it breaks the game too. They launch in full screen and then it just doesn't work.
Well, y'all saw what happened.
Especially if you. I know also if you have a monitor that doesn't have that has unusual proportions, then there were some games that they didn't scale correctly, so I couldn't actually play them because they full screened on a monitor that
your monitor has unusual proportions.
Yes, extra wide, extra thick,
extra curve. For your pleasure.
Oh yes.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, so I think we pretty much agree Bunny Eats is the runner-up here. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Bunny Eats, runner-up for best gameplay.
Bunny Eats.
All right. So the next category is best sim. It's where all the sims.
I say sub. I have my subs my choice for best sim because it was really complicated. It was really also because like once I actually I never really really got to sit down and do a proper like 2-player run, but But like I had another friend play with me, and they were just like, "What am I doing?" And I was like, "I don't even know either." But like once I eventually kind of figured it out. And it made me feel lost and afraid, which I feel like is an appropriate emotion for a submarine trying to break a blockade.
Yeah, I had Ellen come in, and I mentioned earlier, Ellen came in and she was like, you have to do this and this, and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, I can
I didn't get it at all ever.
I never really got good at it, but I enjoyed fiddling with all the parts, and I love the thoroughness, and I love I always love a diegetic interface, and I love a game where like what I'm doing in the game is what I'm doing in real life, or what I'm doing in real life is what I'm doing in the game. That kind of interface. I dig it. I love it. For the same reason I love Hacknet.
I want to mention Zombie Farm because it was a straight up sim. Like it's basically like watching an ant farm. But they basically mentioned in their page that they had intended it to be more interactive, but it didn't work out that way, so it turned into like an AI simulation. And I thought it worked out really well. So like all the AI worked on their cues, because like they were supposed to go stuff, take it to the warehouse, and then when they got hungry they would go to a fireplace. And I'm like, oh, that, I mean, it does what they wanted, and that's it. And it looked really good. It didn't tricky.
Yeah, it was cute. I wanted to mention Skyland Sim, which I enjoyed very much.
Yeah,
that was one with the floating island.
That's one of my. I liked Skyland Sim and Nova Forge. Those were my two for like.
I love.
Nova Forge was another sim.
Actually, all of these.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, Nova Forge was great.
I had the best time playing Nova Forge. I had the most fun playing Nova Forge.
Yeah,
I managed to screw up Nova Forge. I couldn't get a sun to combust.
For me, for the same reason as Zombie Farm, I really enjoyed Atoling Gods, where I could just sit back and watch the various players go on, and they're mining, they're getting resources, they're killing each other, because of course the evil 90-degree colony pops up, and I liked that I could just watch while enjoying the music and spinning around the world, so I could see the different perspectives.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
While I respect that Sub went into so much detail, it felt so impenetrable. Just the depth of it it's something. Even if it is good sim, it felt very hard to access and get into it because there was so much learning.
Yeah, actually, I'm so glad you mentioned Atoling Gods, because you're right. That was a cute sim where you could just sit back and watch it.
And even being able to play alone, so I didn't need to coordinate with someone to be able to experience the game. So it's hard to simulate the experience for a game that is multiplayer only.
That's true.
I would also like to mention Thermosaga for its realistic
Having traumatic flashbacks.
Or hotel room. Dramatic hotel room flashback.
Oh. Womp womp.
It's just.
That was years of my life with some of my family members.
Why is it that guys want to live in an icebox? I don't understand.
Because we sweat that easily.
They sweat really fast. like once it hits 82, it starts.
I can read that I'm Spanish here because like I've only had like AC like once in my life.
Yeah,
you know, like.
Although
once here, so no one gets to complain.
What I miss about Madrid though is it's a dry heat. You can just go in the shade and it's not so bad. It's humid out here. It's gross.
Humid now.
So,
Thermosaga was very realistic. Yes, I think Nova Forge is my pick for best sim. What do y'all think?
I agree.
I'm willing to agree to that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'll agree with it only because everyone else had a great time, because I didn't get my son did not form.
Aww.
One free son. Thank you.
You speak the manager and get yourself a free son.
Oh.
My name is Karen. I demand a son.
I want to talk to your black hole.
Excuse me. Speak to your gravity.
It was a transformative experience for me. It was amazing. So I guess we'll say Nova Forge is the winner of Best Sim. All right, so now it's the big slap fight for runner-up. So unusual. Usually we litigate the winner more than the runner-up, but Thermosaga? Yeah. No. Yes. Yes. Maybe. Anyway, sorry, I cut me off.
I'm willing to. I would enjoy seeing Sub as a runner-up.
I would agree with Sub as runner-up. That one definitely shouted out to like old school hardcore Sims,
which is my favorite part of it, because I was just like, yes, give me numbers. I'm bad at them, but give them to me.
Yeah, the detail, the depth.
I just wish that there was. I'm sorry, you were saying she.
Oh, I was joking. I was saying it had a lot of depth, literally.
If it had a CPU mode, so I could have experienced the gameplay, I would have enjoyed that. But again, it's just I cannot play it to get the full experience.
That's what I was actually thinking. I think it would definitely have benefited from like a CPU, from a single player mode, and then also like a quick mode.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a full-fledged game, obviously for jams it's more complicated, but like if it was like a full-fledged game, like I would definitely have expected a CPU mode and like a quick mode, so you get a feel for it without having to wait for the ship to kind of like.
Or even just make the objective closer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I appreciated the work that went into this game, because this was made by a team of DevOps people, and when I worked in Enterprise, that was. My entire Enterprise career has been centered around DevOps, so I understand the struggle, and what they did was not easy. However, well, it's almost in a weird way relating back to the tutorial thing. If you make the game difficult to play, you're throwing barriers for the players. So this was difficult to play, literally because there was no single player mode, and I would suggest almost always favoring a single player mode for a game jam.
Yeah.
Even if there's an automated version to watch, that would have been helpful to just experience the simulation.
I still would be good for it as a runner-up. Although, actually, no, I want to mention Skyline Sim again, because that was just such a chill thing to watch, and like I understood what was going on.
I mean, we could have two runner-ups.
That's true.
I would vote for Skyline Sim also.
All right.
Because I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Yeah, I wasn't very sure what it intended to. I wasn't very sure it would simulate, but it was very chill.
It's just simulating some stuff going on a floating island, like you do.
I really liked Sub too as a runner-up sim, but I keep arguing. Thermosaga was great because it's just how when I think of Sims, I think of something I can relate to, and like I played all the way up to 100 people, and I was just like, I am the.
That's, but I mean, it's kind of a joke because yes, in real life you fight over the temperature, but it's not really like a sim. It's a joke sim. Well, I guess maybe that's valid in this category, but.
Yeah.
I know, a Tolling Gods, just looking at that as a sim, I went, all right, I can kick back, watch it, and it's simulating two colonies that are trying to get the resources. It well scoped, and I enjoy watching it.
My two runners-up would be Skyline Sim and Sub.
I agree with that.
I also agree with that one.
It's such a tough choice. I'm inclined to lean Sub as the runner-up because of how thoroughly sim-y it was.
I like Sub a more sim game, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Most of us support Sub as a runner-up, so those who support something else need to argue their case. Convince us.
Again, my biggest issue with Sub is I could not experience the sim.
Yeah,
so it's
likewise.
Again, if I can't experience it, then I go that to me that feels like an incomplete game. There's no enjoyment, even if it is technically.
Yeah, I could surmise how deep it was, but I couldn't convince myself.
That's true. That's a compelling argument. What do you think, Termination Shock?
I'm still in favor of Sub as the first runner up there, just because of the depth of the sim in it. I didn't actually get to play it myself, but watching the stream play it and playing with a little bit of the interface was definitely a good sign for that game. A single player mode would have made it better, but the multiplayer was a really good.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm kind of in the same spot where I couldn't experience the full game. Like, it looked interesting and I was excited, but then while I was playing around with it, I was like, well, I can't really do anything because I don't have anyone to play with. But I like the idea, and the execution seemed good.
That's true. That does make me lean Skyland Sim more because so many of us were kind of like, "Oh, it's cool, but we can't."
Wait, legit question.
Yes.
Do you mean like you couldn't play the game if you didn't have someone playing? Because I could play the game
You can
on
still
one
play the
side.
game, but there's just like nothing to really do.
Okay.
There's nobody
except,
to fight against.
play with the tool.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of it was trying to make sure you didn't crash, which I crashed my submarine, by the way. It was great.
Did it have any sound design when you crashed it? Because I
I didn't hear any.
that
I don't remember
was
any
another
sound.
thing. Is it just there was it felt like there was no sound to it that I was able to discover, which also took away from the experience.
Well, real
That-
submarines can't really have a lot of sound.
No, but you could probably put in some like ambient noise.
They should have put in the start.
Gosh,
They-
I've had my mind changed again. Now I'm
Be right-
in favor of Skyland Sim as a runner-up. So, are we okay with first runner-up Skyland Sim, second runner-up sub?
I'm fine with it.
All right.
I'm all right with that.
I just have to be honest. I couldn't get into sub. It was
It's fine.
All right.
Sub.
Well,
I can't wait
sub is
for
the
sub.
second.
That's loud.
That is loud. Yes, it's true. All right. We are now finally at Game of Jam. The big category. This is the game that is just the most emblematic, the most, it's the full package, as I always call it. Usually with a suggestive tone, but...
Que rico.
Ay, que rico. But, we cut that out. I might not.
Why?
Just estoy jugando.
So, for Game of Jam, I think I'm going to say what we're all thinking, and it's heavy mustard. Clearly, the Game of Jam.
Absolutely.
Have we lost Matt? Do we need to take 5? Did he die?
Nah,
Did he get bored?
I
and
think
leave?
he's just taking care of his cat.
Oh, I see.
Back, baby.
Back. We are now
Sorry.
deciding best of Jam.
Best of Jam.
Best of Jam. This is the
Is
overall
anyone
best,
dead?
most exemplary game.
Stellary!
All right.
Celery or the degrees. Every degree matters. That's
Yeah, I'm in for every degree matters. It was just so solid, and they had so much of the game like done. There was so
It's very
much.
polished.
My only complaint was not enough like tutorial. But like,
Yeah, I definitely agree with every degree matters on that one. We had in the stream with that one, we had some pretty good discussion about the game, and really most of the discussion was like there are these little things that would make it perfect, but it's really good.
For me, kind of like a literal headache, like seeing everything spin around at their speed, keep space. It was literally making me dizzy.
Yeah,
I'm not partial to.
For my part, I didn't have a super great time playing it, and that's why my nominee for this would be Nova Forge, which was the entry I enjoyed the most, because it was just beautiful and fun.
I liked it. I just wasn't that impressed.
I'm just super
Fair enough.
conflicted because for me, like a best of jam would just incorporate everything together,
True.
extremely well, and it's just really hard to find. I feel like nothing really hit all those like sub was the closest of like hitting all the different it's a simulation and degrees are involved and but also it still had things missing too, and so it's kind of like I'm having a really hard time picking what I think is like the best.
Well, of the previous,
in terms of it,
of,
please, you were saying?
of the other mentioned games, the one I had the most fun with was Stellary. So
Celery! Gonna blow up some planets, baby.
I'm gonna get blown.
I'll say-
Bad at video games. Sorry.
Michael wants to talk. He's been
I'll
trying
say
to
Talk, Michael.
I really enjoyed Bunny Eats just because of how solid the gameplay felt with the sound design, with the graphic design. It all felt like it came together well. Nova Forge, I think my biggest issue with it is I wish it felt like there was a little more responsiveness to the sound while playing. To a degree, while it was technically good for what they made, the collision unfortunately killed it for me, because even on level 1 I said I'm getting stuck.
Yeah.
And it's affecting my ability to play
That's
this.
true.
I if I'm stuck in a wall, I can't get past level 1 because it's that difficult to control.
That's an excellent point.
And just having no sound design at all, that unfortunately is a deal killer for me, because if you have no sound...
Well, they had some sound.
For which one?
I thought we were talking
Every
about Nova Forge.
degree matters?
Oh! Holy fuck.
You-
This is I thought we were talking about Nova Forge. I was like, what? Oh, yeah, I got stuck on every
Oh,
degree
yeah, no,
match.
Nova Forge, I love the ambient music to that, and just wish that it felt like there was... I don't remember any sound design in addition to the music.
The
I
thing
think there
blew
was
up.
one for
The explosion.
Okay. Okay, so excuse me for missing that part.
Yeah, I would agree that every degree matters really did need sound, especially since it abbreviates to EDM.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
It's a missed opportunity. Damn.
Some sick beats in there.
And
That's
again,
what-
the gameplay was just... No, I again, it needed polish.
True.
I mean, out of all of them, I thought just Every Degree Matters had the most polish. But I agree. I can agree with the people's statements that it's like there's some really frustrating parts that turn you off. I get it.
I
It's a
mean,
very
I
good
was... I
entry.
couldn't get past... I was getting stuck in walls and had to waste degrees on level 1.
Yeah.
That bothered...
I didn't get past level 1 until I watched the judge stream that we had last week or the week before or whatever.
Follow Matt's
Like
example.
once we were all discussing it, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like I finally understand what's happening. And so it was more like a collaboration feel. Like, oh, all the information I was seeing, I just wasn't putting it in the right place.
It's all
Yeah,
the
the walls was definitely one of our bits of feedback on that. It's not that you get stuck in the walls; it's that you have to simulate through the entire bounce.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, is that?
I didn't even
Yeah,
know
you
there's-
can't change direction mid bounce.
Well, that I realized, but it was the sort of thing that I was trying to degree perfect lining up, and if I were to slam into a wall, then just it killed all of my momentum, and I had to waste degrees to which I complete the level afterward.
Yeah, it's an excellent idea that was definitely hamstrung by... It was really hard. I couldn't get past the first level.
And it didn't need to be that hard. It needed more testing or some kind of feed.
It
that
just needed more ramp up to that. I felt like that first level was more like level 3 or 5.
And
Yeah, the thing about jam games
I
is
don't
you need to
remember
err on the
hearing
side
any
of being
sound
too
in it.
easy.
Okay, well, let's see.
So, what do we think about
Celery!
Yes. What do you think about Stellary as game of jam?
Celery! They didn't pay me. Mine.
They
I
bribed him.
I like
They got
celery.
him.
I like bunny eats
Right
as a
to the
complete
judges.
thing.
That's true.
I did like celery, and I'm willing to like let that be my best of jam.
I liked Stellary. I liked the multiplayer aspect. They like multiplayer is hard. Multiplayer is really hard to, and the fact that it kind of worked, like it was still broken. But
Yeah.
it worked. Like for the most part, it worked. The only problem I had was like with a couple of viewers, like they tried to join me, but we were really out of, and like they had killed me, and I hadn't even seen it yet. So
Also, celery doesn't let you change the sound. Apparently,
you also can't put your own name.
Hold on,
I want
sound.
custom
There we
names,
go.
damn it.
There's sound. Found the sound option. Okay, there we go.
I think one argument in favor of Stellary is I think it had a more cohesive integration of the matter of degree theme, whereas Bunny Eats it was one of the many that had a temperature thing as sort of the path of least resistance of well here's a value that we can increment decrement pretty easily.
I can feel Stellary as because it incorporates to degrees. It had fairly good audio. The art was fairly memorable. Like every planet asset was for the most part, and everyone really liked the game.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was bad at it, but I still had fun.
And Bunny Eats has the same thing where it was just like, for some people, it's a traditional parkour platform. You just jump off stuff. And it had a very realistic, delivery feel, modern delivery feel. You get the order, you go pick up the order, you go get it to the people and hope not die by the blade.
Also, solid sound design, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a more complete experience, then I would say that Bunny Eats definitely that was something actually I would see you could actually go ahead and put up on.
Yeah, I'm playing Celery again a little bit, because I had less time to play with it, and so between those two, if those two are the ones that are contenders for Best of Jam, I would rather go. I think Bunny Eats is a little bit more of that for me.
I can get behind that. What do other folks think?
Yeah, I
just because more robust.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
All right.
It just felt
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, congratulations to Best of Jam, Bunny Eats.
Woo!
Excellent work. Yay!
Good job, team.
Yay! Awesome.
bravo on your work.
Everybody did an amazing job, and this was an amazing jam. Oh, and we're not even done yet because we have honorable mentions.
Yes.
Snowshoe, why don't you lead us up?
Well, I wanted to just, have an honorable mention of Solar Symptom for best punny title.
Yes.
I really felt it. I really felt like it hit all the marks of a great.
I want to give an honorable mention to Heavy Mustard for being the best county fair mustard simulator I've ever played.
I gave that it's the real wiener.
No.
Well played.
That actually hurt.
That was painful. That physically hurt me.
That was a transatlantic wiener in that case.
Oh,
no.
It got my I Am 12 award. Because we couldn't.
And also, congratulations to Tyler for making a game that didn't crash my computer.
Yay.
It just crashed everything else instead. My brain doesn't work anymore. Shout out to Thermosaga for most realistic depiction of conflict.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to shout out Virtual Marinade Alpha.
Oh,
Most
yes.
realistic way of reacting to having a
Poor thing. Oh, I feel so bad. I feel like I should be tried for war crimes after playing that. Any other?
I kind of want to give a shout out to Fruit Buddy for the goofiest use of fruit.
Yeah,
the best Tamagotchi simulator.
I'll give a shout out to La Chocolatiere, the chocolate store for being chocolatey.
Nailed it.
Chocolate time, and we it was like dark chocolate and white chocolate. It was great. We made lots of chocolate.
Best chocolate.
Wow.
Best chocolate ever. Also, shout out to Stellary.
But they already got a shout out.
I wonder
They
if
get more shout outs.
I do want to shout out for real school.
Yeah.
Top, I would have spent 80 hours in this game if I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
You know what? Shout out to World OS for being ridiculous and forcing me to change the system clock on my computer.
Oh yeah.
To advance the narrative. Like, I was like, fine, I'll do this. God.
It didn't
Well,
have
actually,
to be.
also like a shout out for Align. Is it Degree from Death? I think was the other one. Or was it no Align Q more? That was a
planetary
good
aligning.
one that I liked, where you had to align the planet.
Yeah, that was cool too.
Yeah, that was a pretty game too. Well, once again, I want to thank everybody for participating. It's not easy to make a game. It's less easy to make a game in 2 weeks. And I know we always say it, but we always mean it. You're all winners. We love you all, and we hope that you'll join us for the Fall Jam. And I also want to give my most heartfelt thank you to the judges who have given their time over to playing all these games and providing their feedback and all the heart that goes into this jam. That said, I'll let y'all run down for your final words and goodbyes, and we'll wrap this up.
Everyone did a really great job. Anyone who's made a game is better. This is horrible. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. Having made a game in general has made you a better person. So take that to heart. You've learned something new and done something cool, and there's no replacing that feeling. So run with it.
Heck yeah.
How can I top that? You all are way more talented than me.
Oh, shush.
I know that I couldn't sit down and make a game like this to save my life, and yet all came out with all such really strong contenders, which was great. Except for Blowing Up, which I didn't get to play because, unfortunately, it wasn't there.
It broke.
But, yeah, it broke. But all of you, yeah, you're all winners in my book. And it's a shame that we only can pick a few.
Yeah, really congratulations to everyone who you submitted a game, you did a thing. It's really hard to make games, and it's especially hard right now. What's going on? And I know some people have a hard time being really creative right now with everything happening, but you guys really pulled it out of your butts. I'm proud of you.
Out of your butts.
That was poetry.
Thank
Quote me.
you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing all of your games. Just having worked in these for the last 5 years and seeing some of the crazy concepts that come out, something stunning where I go, I don't know how you did this in this period of time. It's wonderful to see every game, every style, every flavor. Thank you. And always keep developing and creating and going one step forward.
It's mind-blowing. Oh, yeah, it's super inspiring. For who's running up as a game dev, you are made a game. For everyone who has already, this is amazing. For sharing this for free. And for your games.
Amen.
Yeah, to reiterate, everyone, thanks for making all these great games for us. You did really impressive work. It's hard to make a game. It's really hard to make a game in a short period of time, and everyone managed to make something that submitted. And we're really impressed at that. The games were fun. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. So once again, hope y'all join us in the fall for whatever jam happens then. Until then, congratulations to everybody. Y'all have a great night, great weekend. All right, judges, say bye to everybody. So bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.